Guys, welcome to Insert Type. Today I'm going to be talking about ESFPs and my perspective about them. ESFPs are so amazing, honestly. And like they have the traits I so badly wish I had. Um, Basically, uh, I love fashion and I love color and I love just like these tangible things, textures and stuff. But it took me a really long time to kind of understand those because honestly, I am very detached from the world as it is. And in order to understand those things, I think you have to like let a part of yourself be very physical so you can distinguish between all of those things and how they work properly. And I think in order for me to understand SE, I had to use NE more thoroughly. Um, but we found ourselves here finally. Um, ESFPs are just like, I don't think a lot of people understand how assertive ESFPs are. Like, these people know themselves and they can kind of reconcile that with also being an individual, which for me is very difficult to do, honestly. Because sometimes you kind of get wrapped up in all of the possible other things you could be. But for them, it's always kind of like this concrete thing that they are. And then they just move this concrete piece of them around this concrete earth. Whereas for me, it's always like this theoretical, oh, I could be this, oh, I could be this, maybe I am this, you know? And if I am sure I'm this, then I'm this. Yeah, that's just what I am. It's a very moldable kind of thing. So I met this other ESFP and like he kept on observing things and describing them in such detail that I was like, okay, well, that is amazing. That is honestly truly something that I struggle with, or I couldn't have picked that up immediately, or even the way he moved around the world. It was kind of just like this fluid thing, um, very different to like my anxiety based movement, which I kind of appreciated because I was like, okay, there's a different way to do this. That seems better. Okay, I'm gonna steal this. Um, and another thing, SE, like they so go, like they go. And there's someone like I'm an any type, but I am a very physical and energetic person, so I like touching things and going. But I can never really get through that threshold within myself of like, okay, I'm bored. I'm gonna stop with this thing. Whereas them, it's more like, okay, we're gonna go through this, even if we're bored. Like we just push through. We just, you know, life is about struggle. Life is about getting through the struggle and fighting with that weak part of yourself. It's basically a continuous fight and roughing and muscling your way through things. And I haven't mastered that, man. I haven't mastered that. And ESFPs do that so well. They do that so well. And honestly, I feel like even having SE works a lot better than just having TE. Let me explain. Okay, sometimes you just do. If you're not doing like very bad impulsive things, when you're a doer, you're more likely to land yourself in a position of advantage. Like you're more likely to land up in a room that can help you or in situations that can be beneficial to you. Whereas if you're not doing and you're kind of hiding away or you're procrastinating, it's gonna take forever. Even if you're planning, you could plan forever and you could create the most effective system and you could never implement. So like I feel like SE, once especially it's matured, it becomes one of the greatest skills ever. Mobilization in our modern societies, one of the hardest things to do, even though like you have the greatest opportunity to do it. Like you could literally start anything, anytime, learn anything, anytime. But mobilizing into that is so difficult for us. So them having that skill, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. And even like their ability to push whatever is taking attention from them. Like they are very, they take up space. They take up the space they want and it's theirs. For some people they might view that as a negative because it's like it's very pushy. It obstructs or it encroaches, that's how I would say. It encroaches upon you, but also it makes space for itself, enough room for itself to reside and to grow. And that's another thing a lot of us in modern society struggle with. So having that skill is very good. And especially in fields that are very competitive. You don't just want to hide away. You don't just want to be like a Lowkey. You want to be known. Sometimes that means taking credit for work that isn't yours. Sometimes that means talking a bit too loud. That means standing out, having a very loud sense of fashion, stuff like that. For me, honestly, it took a lot of courage to dress in that way, and I never quite, or always feel shaky about how it comes across because honestly, the image in my mind is more cemented than the world's perspective. Like as I go, that's how I learn about how the world views me and how the world views the way I'm dressed or interprets me as a whole. But in my mind, there's always that thing. Like I was a tomboy for most of my life, so fashion is a real struggle, and aesthetics and girly things are a real struggle for me because I'm like, okay, is this good enough? Do I look like a hoe? Tell me. But for them, it always kind of came naturally. Like not my mom, my sister. I'm assuming she's an SE type. Like from a very small age, she was picking out her clothes and putting things together that looked good. And it wasn't always just like one color, but it was things that were blending well. I immediately saw, even from that age, that okay, this one's a star. This one, come on, come on. Ain't nobody can touch my sister. Whereas for me, I always avoided such things. Like, I let my mom pick my clothes until like I was old, probably like primary school at some point. But I was like, okay, ma'am, I'm not interested in these things. I don't know how to put these things together. So as long as it fits, put it on me. It can be here. It'll be fine. Good. It's only recently in recent years where I was like, okay, I like the way this looks. I like the way this looks. But it was never about like society viewing things like this and this and this. It's only when I started experimenting with what I actually liked that I realized, oh, if this is different enough, people will be like, oh my god, controversial. And sometimes I like it. I like the drama. I think ESFPs and ENFPs are kind of similar in that way. Like the drama sometimes is very intriguing. And I think ENFPs, we like attention a bit more. I mean, a bit less than ESFPs. Because honestly, when you have attention, everybody wants your time all the time. And that's draining for us. Especially when, like, to us, we always have to kind of change every second. So, yeah, all that attention, it's not stable. It's not in a stable form for us. Whereas ESFPs, like, I feel like they're built for that, dude. Like, they are made to bounce off, but like, to improvise, to do that. I think ENFPs, we kind of survive using improvisation, but it's not like something we want to always have to do. Once you have to do something, it doesn't become nice anymore. So they're just really good at this thing, and yeah, maintaining attention. And sometimes, like, especially when I have, there's one of my cousins who's an SE user, I'm guessing. Like, whenever I don't want to talk, she talks, and whenever I don't want to stand out, she stands out. It's a very good dynamic, and I love it. I love it. It's so rare to have like that thing, because usually I end up having to be like the designated extrovert, and sometimes I love it, but sometimes I'm just like, I just want to be emo. I just want to be emo. So whenever for those cases, I want an extrovert, and SE user is the perfect person, and the ESFP especially, because like they're so good socially, like they are so well liked. I don't know how they do it. Like they do it while maintaining their individuality, which I find impressive. Because for me to be well liked, I have to put away some stuff. Let's say. So yeah, that's why I kind of left the ESFP. They're very cool. I wish I was as cool as them. And somehow like they managed to make the eccentricity cool. Whereas I think for an ENFP, when you're eccentric, it takes a while for people to warm up to that if they haven't talked to you. Like from a distance, they're like, that girl is weird. And then for an ESFP, it's more like, that girl is cool. You know, she's a trendsetter type of thing. The ENFP, it's more like, oh, they are a genius. How did we not? Or, okay, this is a common phenomenon that used to happen with me. Like I took some random styling choice years ago of like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. I like this thing. I want to do this thing, even though everyone else is doing this thing. And then I grew past that phase and I dropped that thing. And then suddenly, everybody starts doing the very thing I just dropped. So it's always like a secret trendsetter type of thing. But yeah, it sucks. It's the Kanye effect, I guess. It's just how it is. I think it's the difference between Kanye and Rihanna, probably. Yeah. Rihanna is more like the SE type. And then Kanye. Kanye's Kanye. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know of any experiences you've had with your ESFP. If you're an ESFP, drop a hi. Tell me about you. Tell me more that I don't know, that you can't know as someone who's not an like SE user. Because I might not understand the intricacies of your mind and of your brain as well as you do. So explain it to me so that I know you guys more. It's just so cool, man. It's